This video is to show you how to document your mineral identification when you're using the virtual microscope for a remote lab. So I'm going to share my screen and show you the steps to do this. Okay, so here I have this lab open. It's lab 10, silicates and thin section. This is the remote version. So here, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to open the sample on the virtual microscope. So there's a link to the sample here. I click it and it takes me to this virtual microscope page. I'm actually going to move this to another window so that I can have mine open side by side here. So the first sample is SS3910, or S339, sorry, I have a typo here. It's a quartz mica myelinite. There's some information about the rock here. And what we want to do is we want to click on View Microscope. So now what we're seeing is a scan of the entire thin section. So we're pretty zoomed out here. This is millimeters, this scale bar. We can view this thin section in PPL or XPL. We can zoom in. It takes a little while to sort of catch up when you zoom in. But there we go, all zoomed in. So I'm going to zoom back out quickly and point out some other features. So anytime in virtual microscope you see something like this, a number surrounded by arrows, what it means is that if you click this part, which I'm going to do, it takes you to, it pops up a new window, and this new window has a much zoomed in view, and it also has, it's like you're looking down your microscope. So you have your crosshairs here, and I can grab this and rotate it. So I'm seeing the view rotated in PPL up here and XPL down here. If I make this wider, then they will pop side by side like that. So here I'm rotating it. And in this view, I can clearly see both quartz and muscovite. So they're both colorless minerals. Quartz has much lower relief. Mica has this one direction of cleavage that I can see, and it has these sort of tabular crystals. Over here, quartz we can see is very anhedral, and it has low interference colors up to sort of first order white or cream, but mostly grays, whereas muscovite has higher order interference colors up to second and third. And as we rotate the stage, we can see those interference colors change and the minerals go extinct every 90 degrees. So what I need to do for my lab is I need to be able to document that I correctly identified these two minerals. So to do that, I'm going to go back over here to my lab, and I'm going to click, well, actually, I don't want to click on that image. What I want to do is I want to go right below it, and I want to say Insert Drawing, New. So now what popped up is a Google Drawing window. So I can now, I could write text in here, I could create shapes, I can draw lines, I can import images. And what I want to do actually is I want to bring this image over here so I can annotate it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot, and your way of taking a screenshot might be different than mine. But however you do screenshots on your computer, you're going to want to take a screenshot where you have both the plane polarized light view and the XPL view showing. So all I'm doing here is I'm capturing it and I'm saving it to my clipboard. So I'm basically copying it. So I'm going to say capture. And then I'm going to go over here to my drawing and I'm going to paste it by pressing Command V. For you, it might be something different, but you should know the copy and paste commands for your computer. So I pasted it in. There we go. And now what I want to do is I want to indicate that I know which mineral is which. So I'm going to add a line. And I'm going to point directly to what I know is a muscovite grain. And then I'm going to add a text box here. And I'm going to type muscovite. And now I'm going to correctly identify quartz. I'm going to add another line. So I'm using the lines tool here. And I'm gonna actually do a couple because, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm gonna add another line just to show there's a bunch of quartz here. You don't have to do that. You can just correctly identify one. And I'm adding a text box and I'm saying quartz. And I'm done. I've identified the two minerals I'm supposed to for this question. And I annotated my image correctly. So now I'm going to say save and close. Look at that. There's my image. It's annotated and it's in the lab just like I want. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that image because I did replace it with this one. So that's one way that you can do it. And that is going to work if one of these, oops, I shouldn't have closed it. If one of these marked places on the thin section has what you need in it. However, it might not always. You might have to sort of move around and look around all over the thin section to find what you need. So I'm gonna zoom way in here. And I'm gonna look in both PPL and XPL. Now I can't rotate just anywhere. You can only rotate in those places. So you definitely want to look at the places where you can rotate the thin section. And then you you'll know what the different minerals look like when they're rotated. And you can go around the thin section and look for other things. So if I go back and forth between PPL and XPL, I know what I'm looking for in terms of which are the quartz grains and which are the muscovite grains. So another way that I can document that I've correctly identified is, let me get rid of this one. And I'm going to do another insert, drawing, new. And I'm going to now take a screenshot of just sort of the center of my screen here. I'm just going to choose some area that I think is interesting. I know that this higher relief stuff, these sort of tabular grains are muscovite, and the lower relief stuff surrounding it is quartz. I'm going to choose capture, which is copying it to my clipboard. And I'm going to come over here to my drawing and I'm going to paste that in. And I'm going to go ahead and make it smaller because I'm going to need to do this also in XPL. So I've flipped over to XPL here. And now I'm going to bring back up my screenshot tool. And I'm going to take a screenshot of that exact same place. So capture, that copies it to my clipboard. And I'm clipping it right in here. I'll make them both the same size because that's how I am. And then I need to still label these correctly and annotate them. So once again, I'm going to choose my line tool and I'm going to say, this is quartz, this is all. Oh, can't do that. I keep doing that. You got to make sure you have your line tool selected. So I pointed out 2 quartz grains. I'm going to add a text box and label these quartz. And now I'll select my line and label muscovite. So muscovite are these smaller colored ones. Let me do another one. This one's also muscovite. And add a text box here to identify muscovite. There we go. Save and close. And look, there is our annotated image in PPL and XPL. Our caption still matches. And we've identified the minerals correctly. So that is all you need to do. Make sure that you first, before you just start moving around, I would make sure that you look at all of these opportunities of rotating the stage so you can get a good idea of what these minerals do look like as you rotate the stage. And then I would just play around. There are some really beautiful thin sections that you can see. And as always, email me if you have any questions. So, stop.